You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another installment and our actually first installment of this brand new show that we've got going on the network. This is the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Your November 17th, 2020 edition. Your source of North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. Find us on social media for updates, giveaways, and sponsorship promo codes each month by following the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and following us on Facebook by searching the Armchair GM's Network. Listen to us on our main platform, which is Spreaker.com, and the free Spreaker app by searching the Armchair GMs, as well as Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Deezer by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network. Lastly, your beautiful user-friendly website, armchairgmsports.com, for all things regarding our network, including articles, podcast episodes, sponsors, and contributors. Everything's on there for you guys. And whatever platform you're listening to us right now, please give us a like and subscribe for more content as well. As always, I'm one of your hosts of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown. I am Cappy. You can follow me on Twitter at Capoots13 with a Canadian Z. I'm always joined on the hockey portion of the network and on the Team Canada portion of the network going forward here by my co-host. He is Kyle at JustKyle51.
Hello.
Kyle, we're here for, I guess, the debut of one of our newest shows on the network. Another, I guess you could say,
revamped.
I guess, but I mean, we did a couple of these last year for the World Juniors, but I guess it's another stem off of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown. We got the Sabres edition, we have the Leafs edition, we have the Dog Pound podcast, which was originally a part of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown as well, but now has its own show. And now we're here with the Team Canada edition. So when we're talking about that, it's got to be getting close to World Junior time.
Probably the best time of year if you're a hockey fan and you're obviously a fan of the World Juniors, that it's the best time of year, and I love how it goes hand in hand with the holidays too, which makes it even that much better. And I'm pumped. I know it's going to be a little bit different this year around, obviously with COVID and everything, but it's still going to be great. It's still going to be great hockey, but we got a lot to talk about in terms of that in particular itself, COVID, how it pertains to the junior players. But then we also have to talk about scheduling and the groups and everything. There's a lot to talk about, so I cannot wait to get into this episode. Let's freaking go.
So what I want to talk about first is that obviously, well, first off, that song, that TSN Hockey Canada song, that just reminds me of Christmas. Whenever I hear that and you hear James Duthie talking, it just reminds you of, that Boxing Day that you wake up and Christmas has just ended and all the presents are there, all opened already. The Christmas tree's there. Sometimes snows on the ground, but it just reminds you of like you mentioned, the holiday season when the World Juniors comes around. It's just a great feeling.
We're such a horrible place for guessing if it's going to snow on Christmas Day or not, because it's literally a dice roll where we live. A lot of places it's snows every year on Christmas, no matter what. We're literally a dice roll. It may or may not.
And with this tournament, there's usually a lot of eyes on it throughout the world, the hockey world, but it's going to be magnified, times 100, I think, this year, just for the fact that it's going to be the only hockey going on at the time. The NHL probably won't be starting until January or February. So, and again, for the junior players, that's another big topic of discussion. A lot of them will not have even played, besides being in their selection camp rosters because of the restrictions in the OHL, the WHL, the QMJHL, and even in college hockey as well. So I mean, there's a lot to think about there for a lot of these players. That it'll be a first time not only for the viewers but for the players as well, playing in in-game situations with contact.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot different. I imagine now, knowing, I mean, especially for Team Canada and US right now, junior hockey is not going on. So the players that are playing for their countries that are currently playing junior hockey in North America are kind of the ones that are behind, because by now we'd be already a month or two into the season for like junior hockey, and then they would already be kind of like groomed for the World Juniors by the time it came around. So now you kind of have like a disadvantage if you're playing in North America and you're going to play for your country, whether maybe you're playing for like a WHL team, but you're going to go play for Russia in the World Juniors, right? You're going to be that one player that's going to have a disadvantage, rather as if you have all these other teams coming from the world to Red Deer in Edmonton with players that have been already playing, obviously, because everything kind of seems like it's back to normal for some reason over there. They're going to have the little bit of an advantage from playing so far, right? Maybe not as much an advantage because obviously these countries are picking the best of the best, and obviously they're still training right now in arenas. They're not going to be in game shape, I guess you can say. But I have faith that even with Canada and the U.S., like their selection camps and everything, the camps that they're going to run leading up to the World Juniors, they're going to try to get these kids going like right off the bat. Like they're going to do like full contact scrimmages, get them in game shape. I think they're going to have I think they've taken a better look at in preparing for this as opposed to other years.
And there are actually some players from Canada and the USA who have actually gone over to Europe to play hockey for now. We've seen it with a couple of NHL players as well that are just kind of, playing in Europe just to kind of get their feet wet and kind of, get loose just to kind of be ready for when the season starts. That way they'll actually, be a little bit more prepared. They're not going to be fully prepared, but at least they'll be more prepared than some of these guys that aren't even playing at all.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting. I'm very curious to see how they prepare for this, and I'm sure we're going to see it in the next couple of weeks here.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, those pre-tournament games will actually mean something for these people, as these players, as they're going to be having to get ramped up for these pre-tournament games. But
I think it will, because like I think I put it in accordance to like the NHL, like when they did their pre-playoff games, it was to get the players back into the competitive shape. A lot of people didn't really see much point to it. I mean, there really wasn't at first, but it was to get, that feel for the game back again. You can't just go in cold. So I think the pre-tournament games will mean more than any other year this year.
Absolutely. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the selection camp roster for Team Canada, as again, we're here to talk about Team Canada, but also the whole tournament. But we got Canada's roster here. We got some news on a player that will not be attending camp, a little interesting tidbit there, who was not released by his current hockey team. We've got some news on the groups, the schedule, as well as everybody's favorite representative of Hockey Canada, Tom Rennie, the former head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, who is now the head of Hockey Canada. He gave us a statement back on October 9th that I basically shortened, sweetened for you guys in about a couple of I wrote down a couple of key points from Tom Rennie's video there, so we're going to get into what he said about Team Canada's return to play COVID response. So really important stuff there. So with that being said, we're going to take our first commercial break on the show today, and we're going to come back and we're going to get into the pre-tournament roster for Hockey Canada. So stay right here. We'll be right back on the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award, 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory. And Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code Armchair at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Throatstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Damn, I was hoping you'd let me you play that a little bit longer. I love that song.
Next commercial break.
Next commercial break. When I hear the IIHF song, I just picture a bunch of European people like dancing, like, you know what they do when they play with the darts tournaments. I feel like they're all like dancing to the IIHF song. Like it's just.
Oh yeah. Dude, the darts. I'd want to be a part of that darts crowd at least once in my life. I want to go overseas and be part of that darts crowd because that looks like such a good time.
I feel like they should dance to the IIHF song when they throw a bullseye or something. Yeah. I feel like they should. That song is like the most European song I've ever heard in my life. But I absolutely love it, and it just gets you even more hyped up for the World Juniors and international play in general. But with that being said, guys, let's get into our first topic of the day here. And this segment today is brought to you by Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, built from right here in the Niagara region. Order today at customppe.ca and use the code Armchair at checkout for 20% off your entire order for custom face masks. Make sure you're checking them out. We got our face masks. They're beautiful.
So good. They're literally like the highest quality. We're not even just like bragging because they're a sponsor. Like these things are legit. Like you guys are gonna want to order your masks. Like they're so good. I wear it all the time. We got a couple here, and it's just it's great. It not only obviously we're getting our brand out there, but the quality of the mask. I can breathe normally. I don't get. You know what I don't get usually with what I have with other masks is that when you're wearing like sunglasses, it has the covering so that your sunglasses don't get foggy. Like it has that special thing built into it. So I love the way those masks have that. So
and they're nice and snug for the winter time as well. We're getting up to winter here, and they're nicely insulated masks.
My nose hairs won't have icicles on them, so it's good to have.
So yeah, 20% off customppe.ca and get your own custom face mask over there. Whatever you want on them, you can make it. So make sure you're checking them out. Great sponsor of our network. But with that, Kyle, let's take a look at the World Junior selection camp roster for Team Canada. And we'll start off with the goaltenders here. Got a couple of draftees. We got Devin Levy, a 7th-round pick from Florida, and Dylan Garand, who is projected as the guy who's going to be the starter, a 4th-round pick from the Rangers this year. And then we've got a couple of guys who are three guys who are eligible for the 2021 draft, and Brett Braku, the starter for the London Knights, Taylor Gauthier from Prince George in the WHL, and Tristan Lennox from Saginaw. So a couple of guys that we have seen covering the Ice Dogs in the OHL there, in Braku and Lennox. But it looks like Garand is the guy projected to be the starter. What are you thinking here?
I'd say so. I mean, he's drafted in the NHL. He's drafted in the top 4 rounds, which he kind of has that running for him. But we have 5 goalies to battle for a position. You never know with these things. I know they're going to carry 3, like with the third as an extra just in case an injury happens. So I'd say Garand makes that 3 for sure. Levy, 7th round pick. You're still drafted into the NHL. You never know with picks. Like you could draft some guy in the 6th and 7th round and end up being superstars. So maybe Devon Levy from Dallaire des Ormeaux, Quebec, wherever the hell that is, could be an NHL star one day. But I think it'll be a good competition. London Knights aren't a team to take lightly. So Brett Braku could just has as much of a chance as any other goalie there to make the team. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Tristan Lennox, man, 6'3", this kid. And he's got the size to help him, but can he attribute that to his play? So we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Garden as a starter. I can see that for sure. If he's going to be the one that's highly touted going into this thing.
The elder statesmen actually are Taylor Gauthier and Devin Levy, the 2001 birth years, and the other three are 2002s. So, God, I feel old.
Wow.
Yeah, these kids are playing professional hockey and from born in 2002. They don't know what the
90s were like. They can't experience that.
They don't know, corny television and terrible. I think we had the best TV.
My boy
and the best
Wink Yahoo from man.
Sure. Anyways, moving on to the decor here. A couple of guys returning and a couple of big notable guys I'll just go over quickly here. We got Justin Barron, Bowen Byram, obviously the first-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche, Lucas Cormier, Jamie Drysdale from the Erie Otters, the 6th overall pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the quarterback here. I really think Drysdale is going to be the guy they build around. Like, he's going to be the number one guy on D that they look up to for sure. I can see that.
I think Bowen Byron's probably up there as well as the 4th overall pick.
And
he's
going to play 1 and 2. I mean, left and right-handed. That's perfect top pairing right there.
Yep. Caden Gooley, Thomas Harley, Damon Hunt, Caden Korchak, Mason Millman, Ryan O'Rourke, Owen Power, which we'll get into, is not on the selection camp roster now. Matthew Robertson, Braden Schneider, Donovan Sabrango, and Jordan Spence. So going off of this, you could probably piece together a top 6 already, but again, it's going to be difficult. There's a good mix of 01s and 02s here, so I really think that there is going to be a healthy competition. Obviously, you'd expect guys like Byram, Drysdale, and basically those two are my locks at this point. But then you've got guys who were drafted, pretty highly. You've got obviously Braden Schneider, Caden Gooley, Thomas Harley. Like, these guys are high draft picks, so you would expect them to make the roster as well. But we've seen in the past that there's been some great players that have been left off of Team Canada's roster, just maybe for chemistry purposes, or just they did not perform like they had expected to.
Yeah, of course, Caden Gooley makes the Team Canada selection camp, the guy I wanted the Leafs to take in the draft, but
he went to the Habs. Isn't that just as good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you can piece together a top 6 pretty easily here. Mine would probably feature like Barron, Byram, Drysdale, I don't know, Thomas Harley, Gooley, and I'd probably finish it off with like Schneider maybe. There's another guy I wanted the Leafs to take, and then whoever comes out on top is the last pairing. But I mean, I think you can easily pick out at least 5 for sure, and then the 6 maybe a competing spot. But yeah, it does leave the room for healthy competition throughout the D-men. I see a lot of size, which helps as well. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But everyone drafted. That's the one part. Everyone that is picked for D is drafted.
Yeah, except for Owen Power, which, we'll talk about. But I found it interesting. The one guy on the entire Hockey Canada roster that was born in America, Thomas Harley from Jamesville, New York. So
he's dual citizenship, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. So he's the only guy that was born outside of Canada that has made this roster. It's always interesting to see that. Obviously, maybe his parents must have lived. Usually, what happens when you have a lot of players that play professionally in the United States in the NHL, guys are just born in the States of whatever city that player was playing at the time, but they decide to play for Canada, or sometimes they play for the States. It's kind of up in the air about that. But Thomas Harley, the only non-Canadian born player on the roster this year, so that'll be interesting.
A lot of first-round picks. They have 6 first-round picks in there that could be the 6 guys, like Schneider, Harley, Gooley, Drysdale, Bowen, and Barron could be your 6 guy. That could be your 6 right there, and a couple others for extra. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what competition comes out of that camp for the D spots. But I'm loving the D. The back end is always an important thing. Going to like a World Junior Championship, you need a strong defense, especially when you face like goal scoring teams like Russia and sometimes Sweden. So even the US too, I can include in that. So it's always good to have a good back end. So I'm looking forward to it. I really love the D camp selection this year. We have a good selection.
And moving on to the forwards here, this is going to get interesting. A couple of guys of note here that we'll mention, but Adam Beckman, Mavic Bork, Quentin Byfield, Graham Clark, Dylan Cousins, Kirby Dock, Tyson Forster, Gage Goncalves?
I'm not even going to make an attempt at that.
I apologize to you Everett Silvertips fans out there for botching his name. Ridley Gregg, Dylan Holloway, Seth Jarvis, Peyton Krebs, Hendrik Lapierre, Connor McMichael, Dawson Mercer, Alex Newhook, Jacob Peltier, Cole Perfetti, Samuel Poulin, Jack Quinn, Jamison Reese, Cole Schwint, Xavier Seminole, Ryan Suzuki, Phil Tomasino, Shane Wright, and Connor Zeri. Wow, this is a pretty stacked forward crew.
If you notice, they named a lot. They name dropped. Their brain just name dropped a lot of people that were taken in the top 10 of the NHL draft this year, but one. Mr. Alexis Lafreniere, who I guess the Rangers said, nope, he's not going. He's going to be on our team starting top 6. I mean, I don't blame the Rangers, though, right? Like, you got a freaking generational player. You'd probably want him in NHL camp right away to get some line chemistry going.
Yeah, could you imagine if he was on the roster, too? That'd be ridiculous. But he was able to...
the next, I guess, generational... I don't think he's listed as a generational player, but he's listed as potentially for sure the number 1 pick, Shane Wright, in 2022. So we do have that. So he's basically like remember when like McDavid made the team when he was younger and he had the bucket, the full cage.
Yep.
That's kind of like what Shane Wright's I see him being. But as you said, it's a stacked roster. Like, that's going to be tough picking 12 guys there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good players that are left off of this roster. And like you mentioned, Shane Wright, that's got to stick out at you. You see 01, 02, and then you see an 04. So, yeah. No 03, but you see an 04 there in Shane Wright. Just unbelievable. I think it's going to be difficult for him to make the roster, but again, I think it's going to be a great learning experience for him.
Yeah.
Again, if he doesn't make the roster, it's not a big deal because, look at
all the people there. Like Quentin Byfield, who, if Lafreniere wasn't there, was going to be the number 1 pick.
And just a ton of talent. Like, again, if Shane Wright does make the team, it would be great. But I still think that his time will come. But for him to even be invited to this camp as an 04 birthday when everybody else is invited as an 01 and 02, I think it's pretty incredible. Again, he's not draft eligible for 2 more years, so the 2022 draft. So, and there's only one other player that has not been yet drafted that made this camp, and that was Xavier Seminole from Drummondville in the QMJHL. He's draft eligible this year, so he's 5'7", 174 pounds, and 01 birthday.
Yikes. I mean, we might not have Connor McDavid, but we have Connor McMichael. Yeah.
Connor McMichael's a stud for the London
Knights.
He's
good.
He might be the guy to lead this team this year, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe on the next episode, we'll kind of piece together our roster for this, because I feel like we could pretty much try to go ahead and predict our roster. Yeah,
Tomasino's former Ice Dog. Love seeing him in there. I'd expect you'd want to see Jack Quinn make the team and do good, since he's drafted by your beloved Sabres there.
Well, it would be nice for him to make the team, but I mean, there's a lot of
Dylan
talent.
Cousins. I mean, Cousins is a surefire locked in since he was there last year.
Yeah, I mean, those are 2 great pieces for the Sabres, but there's a lot of talent. There's going to be some talent that's going to be left off this roster, unfortunately, but that's a good thing. I mean, I think Canada's got a really, really nice crop of forwards this year, and it's going to be a competition down to the end, and there's going to be a lot of skilled players that are left off this list. It just goes to show what kind of depth there is once again with Canada's hockey.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at all the top end draft picks. I mean, we saw it last year. I think it was last year, United States roster, all their first round draft picks. This year, it looks like it's going to be Team Canada with that. I'm just going off the top here. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 first round picks on the forwards alone. So,
do you want to get into the staff? Because I see a name here that I'm going, oh my God, the goaltending coach for Team Canada,
Jason LaBarbera.
If anyone knows that name, former NHL goalie Jason LaBarbera. I think he played for the Kings, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. Played for a couple of teams, but he was basically a backup and an AHL goalie.
Yeah, but the head coach, Andre Tourigny, who was the head coach of the Ottawa 67s, who dominated the OHL last year. So I think that's also a solid pick for head coaching.
The last 2 seasons, actually, the Ottawa 67s have led the OHL as well. Last year, they led the whole league in points. So the Tourigny is a good pick. I expect him to pick Jack Quinn if he's the coach of the Ottawa 67s. You know, I think Jack Quinn's probably got a better chance that Tourigny is the head coach.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think he plays buys him and or doesn't play buys him? Be like, look, you have to make camp. I don't care if I'm your coach.
Well, we saw that last year with Dale Hunter. He had London Knights players on that roster, so I think Jack Quinn's got a better shot that Tourigny is the head coach. Just going to throw that out there, but we'll have to wait and see with that. It looks like a very good roster, and I'm really looking forward to this camp. Like you mentioned, I think this camp's going to be very, very competitive, and even the pre-tournament games, because of what's going on with the lack of hockey this year for a lot of these kids, those pre-tournament games and this camp roster, this selection camp is going to be very competitive.
Well, I mean, they play each other. Like, you know how they do if anyone knows, they do the red and white games. It actually starts in a few days on the 21st. So they play their red and white games the 21st, 22nd, 24th. Then they play the U Sports team 28th, 29th, 5th, 6th, 12th, and 13th of December. So they're going to get their full competitive play in soon. So we'll have to keep an eye on who comes out on top and who looks good out of those games. I'm sure they use those red and white games to, see who stands out and could be a surefire mark for the team.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, in this segment, I want to bring up why we keep talking about Owen Power and why he was not going to be on this roster. This is a statement from Hockey Canada, and this is the most corporate statement I've ever heard in my entire life.
Corporate statement.
The following is a statement on behalf of Hockey Canada. Senior Vice President of National Team Scott Salmond regarding Owen Power. After ongoing discussions with the University of Michigan, Hockey Canada has informed that Owen Power will not be released to participate in Canada's national junior team Sport Check selection camp. God, they even have a sponsor for this camp, Sport Check. Makes sense. We understand this year's World Juniors and selection camps are unique, but we believe that the chance to represent Canada is a tremendous opportunity for any young player. Although we are disappointed that Owen will not be able to join our team at camp, we understand and respect the decision made by the University of Michigan. In other words, they are not happy that Owen Power will not be released by the University of Michigan. But again, he's playing in the United States, Kyle. So, I mean, with the pandemic and what's been going on down there, can you really, blame him or blame the University of Michigan for releasing him to another country at this point?
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation. I don't remember anything like this ever happening with World Juniors. Like, I can't think of something similar. So it's I don't know. I find it really weird.
Yeah. So Owen Power is not going to be attending the Canada selection camp. He was one of the only players that was not drafted yet into the NHL. Actually, the only defenseman that was invited to camp who was not drafted. So
I didn't really hear much about him before this. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't. Did you ever hear about Owen Power anywhere before selection camp? Like, I don't remember him ever being being talked about on TSN or anything. The name doesn't ring a bell.
No, but he does play for the University of Michigan, which is a great NCAA hockey program. So unfortunately, he will be staying with the University of Michigan and not attending Canada's camp. But at this point, I think they'll be okay without Owen Power.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they'll be all right.
I think they'll be okay with a lot of these top end draft.
I don't think
picks
if we lose out, we're gonna be like, damn, only if we had Owen Power.
Yeah, maybe if we had Max Power,
hey.
Homer Simpson's alter ego. Maybe we need.
Gotta love that Simpsons reference.
Absolutely, but yeah, that's the statement on Owen Power. So he will not be attending Canada's selection camp. Other than that, everybody else is scheduled to attend, and again, it's going to be a very competitive roster this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it shapes out.
So good, and I'm just love. We need hockey. Like, I hate that gap. I know usually this happens in the summertime, but that gap when there's no hockey. Like, I hate that gap. I hate
We're in it right now.
Like, it's weird. And it shouldn't be. We're in November. Hockey should be, flourishing right now. But
yeah.
Because of the times we're in. It's so weird that the gap's happening now while the cold season's coming in. It's so weird.
And it gets us even more hyped for the World Juniors when it does come around.
They should have more eyes on this. Isn't that weird that the World Juniors are going to start before the NHL starts?
Yes. It's going to be great for this tournament, I think, going forward. But with that being said, we're going to take our last commercial break on the show today. We're going to come back and discuss the groups, Canada's what their schedule is going to look like for the little first bit of the tournament, and some news from the president of Hockey Canada, Mr. Tom Rennie. So stay right here. We'll be right back on the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network.
J&L Flooring is a Niagara-based specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride in providing elite customer service and support. They are a specialty flooring and decor boutique shop with a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety and truly unique selection of products. All their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced, so you can feel great about your flooring choices. Their goal as a local business is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity that they foster with respect and authenticity. Offering unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team, they connect with their customers to simplify the process to make their life easier and to make their homes beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, or find out more at jnlflooring.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 905-358-3299 J&L Flooring.
The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill is located on the top of Clifton Hill and just a 5-minute walk from the majestic Niagara Falls. It is conveniently nestled in the heart of the tourist district. A family-owned and operated business, the Spicy Olive opened its doors in May of 2003 and has since been established as an authentic and unique Italian restaurant and bar. Its rustic ambiance and time-worn finishing provide a warm and inviting dining experience. Offering an array of delicious dishes, they specialize in authentic Italian cuisine, homemade sauces, fresh ingredients, and consistently providing a strong foundation on which they build their menu. As night falls, the Spicy Olive shifts to a lively lounge where drinks and live music come together to make a perfect evening. For more than 15 years, they have provided not only for their dedicated locals, but their customers from all over the world with authentic Italian food and great live entertainment. Open daily 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for dinner and till 2 a.m. for drinks. Check out their new menu and book reservations on their website at Spicy Olive Bar and Grill, it's with an E at the end, .com, or call 905-371-2323 for reservations as well. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
I love that song.
Just for you, I had to let it play.
Oh, that was fantastic. I would have let you play the whole 3-minute song if you would have I would have been okay with that. I'm sure our listeners would have been okay with that as well.
I don't know, because maybe they're like, "Hey, we heard it already. Start talking again."
Nah, that just got me pumped up for this last segment. And this segment today is brought to you by the Niagara Employment Help Center, helping job seekers find work with their free services and counseling professionals. 6100 Thorlstone Road, Niagara Falls, across from the McMesos Plaza. Book your appointment at ehc.on.ca or give them a call, 905-358-0021. If you're looking for a job during these tough times, they can assist you there. Resume building, cover letters, anything you guys need. They got some great people over there. So Go and check out the Niagara Employment Help Center if you're looking for a job at this point. Also a sponsor of the Niagara Ice Dogs. So there's that for you as well. But with that being said, guys, let's talk about this statement that we got from Mr. Tom Rennie. This statement actually was more of a video statement, but again, I basically shortened it down for you guys from this video back on October 9th. Getting Back to Canada's Game, it was called on the Hockey Canada's website. Return to Hockey COVID Response. This was from the president of Hockey Canada, Mr. Tom Rennie. Just give you guys the cliff notes of it. Basically, he said, safety is number one priority. That was basically what he kept saying throughout the whole video. On June 4th, Hockey Canada built guidelines, including task teams, seasonal to talk about seasonal structure, key areas of coaching, officiating, and regulations. They showed organization. They showed a semblance to practical but not compromising safety. So again, basically just talking about safety throughout the whole video. He went on to say hockeycanada.ca/return to hockey gives you a chance to see what your member in your specific region is up to as far as guidelines and restrictions for hockey. I guess this is for youth hockey. Research data and analytics into what is going to be out there, what people fear, what they look forward to in the game, and what do they miss in the game. And this is one of the most important parts I took from it. He said, and they had it come up on a graphic on the video. It said, "This is not a race to be first. This is a race to do it right. Thank you for your patience and your perseverance and ability to understand. We're not going to come back at 100% normal in the near future, but we will be playing. And lastly, we are here for the long haul. Hockey Canada isn't going anywhere, and when we return, we will be better than ever," is basically the cliff notes from Tom Rennie's statement there back on October 9th. Kyle, what are your thoughts on basically the summary there of what Tom Rennie said about Hockey Canada and basically the safety measures that they are taking and kind of how they won't be back to 100% normal, but they will be playing?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to do it, especially with the times that there are happening now, and the NHL's doing it, so you kind of have to follow suit. I'm glad they've come out and said that they're going to take every safety precaution that they can do for this bubble, because obviously they're going into a bubble here, no fans. They're going to have to live the bubble life. Like, they can't go outside the bubble. Everything's going to be tracked. There'll be daily testing. I think it's good. You kind of have to come out with this. You can't just go into the World Juniors and say, "Oh yeah, we're taking safety protocol," but you kind of need to come out and say, "Okay, how are you doing it?" You know what I mean? And I mean, he's right. We're in different times. It's not normal, but I love how he assures that eventually we'll be back to normal in another time, and we're going to do our best to make sure we come back safely. So I can appreciate everything he said.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's difficult, but you have to do it right. And again, like you mentioned, we're here for the long haul, and it's not going anywhere. We'll be back. And but I'm glad that Hockey Canada was able to release a video like this, just giving everybody like reassurance of what was going on, and that they're actually doing their due diligence, like you mentioned, with the task teams and looking into analytics, research, and data. Like that stuff's good. That it's kind of reassuring to us as fans, and even as the players or the parents of the players, to know that the safety is the number one priority, and that they're not just going to bring these kids back for the sake of Hockey Canada making money. That they are caring about these kids, and again, at the end of the day, they are still kids playing in these tournaments. So we have to watch out and make sure that they're safe as well, and they can contract the virus and spread it to other family members who are even more vulnerable. So I'm glad Hockey Canada came out and made this video, and Tom Rennie as well, just like I mentioned, reassuring to fans and players and family that they are taking the right steps, and they are taking this very seriously.
I mean, next year they're coming back to Red Deer in Edmonton, they've announced. So I think it's more of reassuring that as well. Like, if by this time next year for the 2022 World Junior Hockey Championships, if we're still in a pandemic, depending on how the world is, and hopefully not, we're going to be taking the same safety precautions. Like, we're going to be going into that a lot differently than we have been. So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope by this time next year, since it'll be in Canada again, that we're a little bit back to more normal, and we can have fans and for people to experience it. Because when the World Junior comes to Canada, like, it's something else, right? Like, you see it sometimes when they go to Europe, and like the host city will have their fans and how nutty they are, and then Canada just takes it to another level with the fans here. So I hope by this time next year it'll be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. And again, like you mentioned, being in Edmonton and Red Deer would be nice if they were able to come back next year with fans, because that in Canada could actually have another home ice advantage with the World Juniors, because they are going over to Sweden and I believe Germany the 2 years after that. So
Russia,
Russia. Yeah. So it's Russia and Sweden
Germany,
the next 2 years.
Gutenberg, I think it's called. That's where that is.
Yeah. So it's gonna be in Europe the 2 years after that. So It would be nice for Canada to get it actually like a legit home ice advantage this year. Is not really going to be that. But again, Edmonton being a hub once again for hockey. They were that for the NHL. Now they're going to be it for the World Juniors. So I guess Edmonton has become the hockey hub of the hockey universe.
You know, it would be sweet because we got to experience this, and this was so much fun. So myself and Brandon went to, when it was in Buffalo a few years ago, we went to the outdoor game between Canada and USA at then it was called, I think was it Ralph Wilson still, or was it New Era?
It was New Era. Now it's just
Era.
Bill Stadium.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. They could do it over there, the Eskimo Stadium, if they did Canada and USA.
Yeah, but
I'd fly I'd fly over.
Yeah, but they can't do it this year because there's gonna be no fans. But maybe next year. I mean,
like next year would be cool. Like,
yeah,
that would
maybe
be sweet.
Yeah, maybe that's how they kind of get people back, and they say like, we're gonna come back, we're gonna do something big, we're gonna have the outdoor game again, because I feel like that was a big success. So I hope that that they would do that again.
It
especially
was so much fun. Like
Canada, USA.
I had such a good time. It was so fun.
Mm-hmm. So with that, Kyle, let's talk about the last part of the show today, and let's look at the groups and the pre-tournament schedule. So what are we looking at?
Well, let's talk about the groups. And I mean, Canada didn't draw the short straw. We drew a pretty simple group. I mean, this was selected last year in January. So if you don't know, Group A is Canada, Finland, Switzerland, Slovakia, and Germany. And right off the top, I mean, like our only serious competition, I would say, is Finland. Not knocking Switzerland because their hockey program has been getting better like year by year, but Canada and Finland is literally the only competition that they have, and Slovakia and Germany, like I would be shocked if one of them pull an upset. I highly doubt it will happen. But you look at the other group, Group B, like, oh my God, Russia, Sweden, and US, like, are the big three there. And I mean, Czech Republic is not another team to kind of push over. They're good at times, but I mean, they have Austria in there.
Relegation.
They're the lead runners for the relegation games.
Yeah, them in Germany looks like it could be a great relegation game. But yeah, you mentioned Russia, Sweden, and USA. That's the group of death, as they would say when it comes to FIFA World Cup. I mean, Russia, Sweden, USA. I look at Canada and I say, wow, that kind of really not fair. But I guess that's just the way that it played out with 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 2, 3, 6, 7, 10. So
weird. Just. It's so weird how they grouped it this way.
And we get Russia, USA right off the bat. So I mean, one team might already be behind the 8 ball to start there in the first game.
Yeah, I mean you do play the other. You do play the other group in the prelim game. So like the pre-tournament games, which happens from the 20th to the 23rd. Canada will be playing Sweden on the 21st. And we'll play Russia on the 23rd. So at least we'll have like a taste of, what it'll be like. It's kind of like a preview. Like maybe Canada faces Russia or Sweden in the medal rounds. You know what I mean? So it'll be like a preview of maybe like what could happen. Like
and again, like you mentioned, those prelim games, pre-tournament games, they aren't going to be taken lightly because
they now matter.
They are going to matter because these players are going to have to get up to speed, and I think they're going to be more competitive than we had ever seen before because the players are going to need that time to get themselves ready into game shape with the lack of hockey that they're playing right now. So I think those games against Sweden and Russia might not just be throwaway games like we might have seen in previous years.
Hey, I mean, we're opening with USA and Switzerland in the prelims. That barn burner. Can't wait to watch.
Or it's interesting because the tournament's actually starting on Christmas Day this year instead of Boxing Day. It opens up with Switzerland, Slovakia, and Germany.
I'm
Finland.
watching that. I can't wait to get my morning coffee and watch that game.
Russia, USA, though, at night. That's going to be a good one. That'll be a nice Christmas night thing to watch. I don't really know if there's
don't want to watch Germany and Finland?
Absolutely not.
That's going to be some healthy competition right there.
Anyways, let's take a look at what Canada's looking at for the schedule. First game against Germany on the 26th. The Boxing Day Classic is going to be a real classic against a powerhouse in Germany. Maybe if we were playing them in soccer.
Yeah. The only time Germany looked like a powerhouse in hockey, I think, was that the last Olympics when they didn't have the NHL players, because I think they made it to the gold medal, didn't they not?
Who?
Germany. I'm pretty sure they made to the gold medal in the last Olympics.
Yes,
when there was
they
no
did.
NHL players.
Yes, they did.
When it comes to World Juniors, though, probably not. We've seen crazier things happen. I wouldn't say Canada would lose, but they could. I mean, a crazy thing that could happen is Canada wins like a 2-1 game against Germany. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a really low scoring game, because rosters could look stacked on paper, but it's the chemistry between those stacked players it is going to have to form. You could have a stacked team, but you could have a line of the 3 top picks in the NHL, but do they work well together? So it'll be interesting to see how chemistry works in going into this game, but I can't see Canada losing to Germany. If you are looking on the site, on the IIHF website, if you're looking at schedule and times to set yourself a schedule, make sure you do switch the time zone, because they have it listed as Mountain Standard Time. Make sure you know that we're in the East. If you're over here in the eastern part of Canada, that it'll be at 7 o'clock, not 4 p.m. as they have it listed there.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be 7 o'clock Eastern time, Mountain Time, since it's being played in Edmonton and Red Deer. So
can you imagine being a 7:30 Mountain Time game? You're getting shown at 10:30 here. It's like watching the West Coast teams on TSN and Sportsnet.
I love watching the West Coast games, but I know for some people that have to get up early for work in the morning, they dread those 10:30 games. But I personally love them.
And USA and Russia is the first one that we'd have to wait till 10:30 at night to watch.
Perfect. I can't wait for that. That'll be great. But with that said, Kyle, anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up our first Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition?
I mean, the rest of the schedule is pretty simple. I mean, they play the 27th against Slovakia. And, it is what it is there. Then they play Switzerland on the 29th. Again, it is what it is there. Again, their only test comes New Year's Day, which they saved Finland for Canada for New Year's Eve, the 7 o'clock game. So that'll be interesting. I mean, that'll be a good matchup. Finland's always a mixed bag when coming to the World Juniors. They're either a really strong team that's going to finish in the gold medal, or they're a team that's going to be competitive up until the first round of the medal round. So we'll see what they're like going into this one. But the New Year's Eve games, besides Austria and Czech Republic, I don't know if you're into that, go ahead. You have Canada and Finland, and then you have USA and Sweden. So it'll be very good night for hockey there. But yeah, I'm excited for this tournament. I can't wait for it to start. Again, it's going to basically, camps are on their way, and the red and white games are about to start. And, we're literally so close. Like we're getting pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Just over a month away from the World Juniors starting, and again, hopefully we'll come back and we'll kind of have some more to talk about. Maybe there'll be some cuts. Maybe we can project a roster of what we want.
We should come back at when we have the final roster announced, and then we can talk about what we've seen then.
Yeah, and then we can kind of piece together a lineup of what we think, what'll be the forward lines, what'll be the D lines, what the goaltending. What the goaltending trio will look like and everything with that. And then once the tournament starts, we're going to be definitely doing more of these episodes as Canada plays their games and as the tournament goes on. Really looking forward to bringing you guys the third edition or the third installment of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown, which is the Team Canada portion of it, which is very important to us here in Canada and something that we all take very much pride in watching, no matter what. If it's Olympics, if it's World Cup, if it's World Juniors, even women's hockey, we love watching Team Canada play on the ice. It's just something that we all love and look forward to whenever it does come around, because it really is the only sport that we can say that we're competitive in, no matter when we step on the ice. So, and again, it is I guess you could say curling is our national sport, but when you really think about it, hockey is our number one sport.
You're never going to have us do a Niagara Hockey Lowdown curling edition. That's never going to happen here.
Sorry, lacrosse. What am I talking about curling? It's lacrosse. But I just thought of curling because the ice. I don't know why. I'm losing it here at the end of the episode.
But I got one last question for you. Before we wrap it up, you got to tell me, do you want the IIHF theme to close us out, or do you want the Hockey Canada TSN theme?
Well, you already played a IIHF twice, so I want to hear.
We can do it 3 times if you want. I'm going to leave that decision up to you.
No, you can play Hockey Canada to close us out.
Okay.
But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this first installment of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. By sports fans, for sports fans. As always, I'm one of your hosts of this show, Cappy. You can follow me on Twitter at Caputs13 with a Canadian Z. As well, you can follow my co-host Kyle at JustKyle51. A big thank you to all of our great sponsors who help put us on Support the Network, keeping the show on the air. Make sure you're checking them out and telling them that the Armchair GM sent you. Finally, to you viewers out there for tuning in and listening along with us for this episode, thank you very much to you, Hockey Canada fans, and we will be back with more content on this podcast and on this network. And lastly, again, this has been the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Team Canada edition on the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans for sports fans. We'll see you guys next episode. And again, lacrosse is our national sport, not curling and not hockey to my knowledge. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you guys next episode, and enjoy the Team Canada selection camp.
See ya.